What did your team leader do wrong that you swore you'd never repeat? Staff Sergeant Vincent Shaw was my first team leader in Iraq. Smart guy, knew his tactics, always got the mission done. But he had this one habit that drove us all crazy. He never explained why we were doing things, just gave orders and expected us to follow blindly. Briggs, set up security on that rooftop. No context about what we were watching for or how long we'd be there. Dalton, run this message to 2nd Platoon. Never told us what the message said or why it mattered. Shaw believed information was above our pay grade. We were specialists and corporals. He was the sergeant. That's all that mattered to him. Most of the time it worked fine. We did our jobs, mission succeeded, nobody questioned it. Then came the patrol that changed everything. We were doing a routine security check in a residential area. Shaw sent Private Quinn Mercer to watch the north alley while the rest of us cleared buildings. Mercer, post up at that corner, don't let anyone through. That was it. No explanation of what we were looking for or why that position mattered. Quinn was 19, 6 months in country, good soldier, followed orders without complaint. He took his position and waited. 30 minutes later, we heard gunfire from Quinn's position. Ran over and found him in a firefight with 3 insurgents. He'd stopped an old man with a cart from entering the alley. Old man got aggressive, pulled a weapon. Turned out the cart was packed with explosives meant for our position. Quinn had prevented a massive attack, killed 2 insurgents, wounded the 3rd, saved all our lives. Back at base, Shaw put Quinn in for a medal. Told the commander how Quinn had displayed excellent tactical awareness and judgment under fire. But that night in the barracks, Quinn pulled me aside. He looked shaken, exhausted. I almost let that guy through, he said quietly. I didn't know why I was watching that alley. Figured it was just random security. When I saw an old man with vegetables, I almost waved him past. What stopped you? I asked. Pure instinct. Something felt wrong about how he was moving. But if I'd known we had intelligence about a possible attack from that direction, I would have been way more alert. Would have spotted the threat sooner. He was right. Shaw had the intelligence report. Knew there was chatter about an attack, but never told Quinn because he thought privates didn't need that information. Quinn made the right call anyway, but he'd made it blind. And it had almost cost us everything. I remembered that moment 5 years later when I made sergeant. Got my own team, my own soldiers to lead. First mission briefing, I told them everything. The intelligence, the objectives, the backup plans, why each position mattered. One of my soldiers, Private Lane Foster, raised his hand. Sergeant, isn't that above our pay grade? Nothing is above your pay grade when your life depends on it, I told him. You need to know why you're doing something so you can make good decisions when things go sideways. Lane nodded, but I could tell he didn't really get it yet. None of them did. They'd never had a team leader who explained things before. 3 months later, we were on patrol when an IED hit our lead vehicle. Radio went dead, our convoy scattered, complete chaos. Lane was positioned on a side street, separated from the main group. He could see Iraqi civilians gathering near a suspicious vehicle 2 blocks away. Standard procedure says hold position and wait for orders. But Lane remembered the briefing, knew we were in an area with secondary IED attacks. New insurgents often planted second devices to hit the rescue teams. He moved his position without waiting for orders, got a better angle on the vehicle, called in the coordinates for EOD. Turned out it was exactly what he thought. Secondary IED positioned to hit us when we responded to the first explosion. After the mission, Lane came up to me. That briefing you gave, where you explained the enemy tactics and why positioning matters, that's why I knew what to look for. You made a good decision under pressure, I told him. Only because I understood the bigger picture. If you just told me to watch that street without explaining why, I might have missed it. That's when it hit me. Shaw wasn't a bad leader. He just didn't trust his soldiers with information. Thought knowledge was power and needed to keep it for himself. But real power is giving your people the tools they need to succeed, including information. Last year I ran into Shaw at a training conference. He'd made Sergeant Major, was teaching a leadership course. His first slide said, information sharing in combat leadership. During the break, I asked him about it. Thought you believed soldiers didn't need to know the why? He gave me a tired smile. Took me 20 years to learn what you figured out in 5. Information isn't power. Informed soldiers are power. Then he told me something I never knew. Quinn had written him a letter after that firefight, explained how close it had been, how he'd almost made the wrong call. Shaw kept that letter in his desk for 15 years. Read it before every mission as a reminder. Quinn's teaching at the NCO Academy now, Shaw said. His whole curriculum is built around what he calls informed decision-making. Says he learned it from watching me do everything wrong, then watching you do it right. I looked up Quinn last month. He's a sergeant major too, training the next generation. His opening lesson to every class starts with, let me tell you about a sergeant who almost got me killed by keeping me in the dark, and the corporal who saved my life by telling me everything. Turns out one bad habit, recognized and corrected, can change an entire generation of leaders.